I slept alone, but when I woke up, there was an alien vampire woman in my bed. HFY Sci-Fi story. Evan Hale slept alone. That was normal. The listening station on the edge of human space was built for one person, sometimes two if inspectors visited. It floated in the quiet dark between stars, far from trade lanes and even farther from trouble. Evan had been assigned there because he was patient, calm, and good at handling silence. When his sleep cycle ended, the soft light of morning mode filled the small cabin. Evan opened his eyes and froze. Someone was in his bed. For half a second his mind refused to understand what he was seeing. His heart began to race. His hand moved slowly toward the emergency alarm on the wall, but he stopped himself when he noticed something strange. The woman beside him was not human. Her skin was pale, almost silver, and faint lines ran across it like veins filled with soft light. Her hair was long and dark, spread across the pillow like ink in water. Her face was sharp but calm, her eyes closed, her breathing shallow and slow. She wore no uniform, no armor, only a thin black garment that looked burned at the edges. Evan did not scream. He did not move. The station's sensors should have warned him. No ship had docked. No airlock had opened. The security system showed nothing unusual. Yet there she was, real and solid, close enough that he could feel the cold air around her. Carefully, Evan slipped out of bed and stood against the far wall. He kept his eyes on her the whole time. His thoughts raced, but training pushed him forward. Panic would not help. He checked the console by the door. No alerts, no breaches, no unknown life forms detected. "That's impossible," he whispered. The woman stirred. Evan's breath caught as her eyes slowly opened. They glowed faintly red in the low light, not bright or angry, just different. She looked at him, confusion crossing her face, then fear. She tried to sit up and failed. A quiet sound escaped her lips, not a word, but pain. Evan raised his hands, palms open, a gesture he had practiced in first contact simulations but never thought he would use. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said slowly. "Please don't hurt me." She looked at his hands, then at his face. Her breathing grew uneven. With effort she spoke in broken galactic common, her voice weak but clear. "This is not the void." "No," Evan said. "You're on a human station." Her eyes widened. Fear flashed across her face, then disbelief. "Human?" she whispered. She tried again to move, but her body shook and she fell back against the bed. A faint crackling sound filled the air like static. Evan took a step closer, then stopped. "You're injured," he said. "You should stay still." Her gaze snapped back to him, sharp despite her weakness. "You should run," she said. "They will come." "Who?" Evan asked. She closed her eyes for a moment as if gathering strength. "My kind are hunted," she said. "I escaped. I jumped blind. I was dying." Evan swallowed. "What's your name?" She hesitated, then answered. "Sarathiel." Evan nodded slowly. "I'm Evan." Sarathiel looked around the small cabin, her eyes taking in the walls, the screens, the simple furniture. Confusion replaced fear. "This place is crude," she said softly. "How did I arrive here?" "I was hoping you'd tell me," Evan replied. He moved to the medical kit and brought it closer, careful not to startle her. The scanner beeped wildly when he aimed it at her body. Readings spiked and dropped in patterns he had never seen. "You're not like anything in our database," he muttered. Sarathiel gave a weak smile. "We feed on energy," she said. "Radiation, stars, ships, I have none left." Evan frowned. "You're starving," she nodded. For a moment Evan considered calling command. This was beyond him, an unknown alien species in his bed, injured, possibly dangerous. Protocol demanded reporting immediately. But when he looked at her, he did not see a monster. He saw someone trapped and afraid. "What happens if they find you?" he asked. Sarathiel's jaw tightened. "They will take me back, or destroy this station to erase evidence." That made Evan's decision easier. "Then we don't let them find you," he said. Her eyes widened again, this time not with fear but surprise. "You would protect me?" she asked. "A human." "I don't see anyone else volunteering," Evan said. He moved to the control panel and began adjusting the station's output. The listening station used low-level fusion reactors, old designs considered inefficient by most advanced species. Evan lowered emissions, masked signals, and activated backup systems. "What are you doing?" Sarathiel asked. "Making us boring," Evan replied. "Advanced ships ignore places like this." She watched him work, silent now, studying every movement. Minutes later, the station trembled. Evan felt it through the floor. His stomach dropped. "Too late," Sarathiel whispered. Sensors lit up. Multiple contacts appeared on the screen, sleek and fast, not human. Evan's hands moved faster. "They won't see us," he said, though he wasn't sure. The ships passed close, very close. Sarathiel held her breath. Then they moved on. The silence returned. Evan slumped into a chair, sweat cooling on his skin. "That worked," he said, half laughing. Sarathiel stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. "You hid me," she said slowly. "With technology they abandoned long ago." Evan shrugged. "Sometimes old things still work." She looked down at her hands, faint light flickering beneath her skin. "You do not fear what I am," she said. "I do," Evan admitted. "But fear doesn't mean I stop being human." Sarathiel closed her eyes, exhaustion pulling her back toward sleep. "Then perhaps," she murmured, "the galaxy is wrong about you." Evan stayed awake, watching the stars, knowing that nothing about his life would ever be simple again. Evan did not sleep after that. He sat in the dim control room while the station drifted silently through space. The stars outside looked calm, uncaring. Inside, everything felt fragile. Sarathiel rested on the bed, her breathing slow but uneven. The faint glow under her skin pulsed like a dying ember. Every few minutes, Evan checked the sensors. The alien ships had moved away, but that did not mean they were gone for good. He had broken protocol, big protocol. If Command found out, his career would be over, maybe worse. But when he looked at Sarathiel, alone and weak in a place she never meant to reach, he knew he would make the same choice again. Hours passed. Sarathiel woke with a sharp gasp. Her eyes opened wide, glowing brighter than before. For a moment, Evan thought she might panic or attack. Instead, she slowly sat up, holding her head. "The noise," she said quietly. "Your machines hum like trapped lightning." "Sorry," Evan said. "I can lower the internal power flow." He adjusted the controls and the hum softened. Sarathiel relaxed slightly. She looked at him with a long, careful stare. "You stayed," she said. "Someone had to," Evan replied. She studied the room again, more calmly now. "You should not have," she added. "My enemies do not forgive." "Neither do humans," Evan said. "We're just slower about it." That earned him a small, tired smile. Sarathiel swung her legs over the side of the bed and stood. She wobbled and Evan moved forward, ready to catch her, but she steadied herself against the wall. "I am stronger than before," she said. "Your station leaks energy." Evan blinked. "It does." "Yes, barely, but enough to slow my decay." "That's good, I think," she nodded. "But it will not be enough for long." Evan leaned back against the console. "Then we find more." Sarathiel tilted her head. "You would feed a monster." "I don't see a monster," Evan said. "I see a refugee." Her eyes darkened, and for a moment something ancient and heavy moved behind them. "My kind were not always hunters," she said. "We were scholars once, explorers of deep space. Then others learned how we survived, how we fed. They turned us into tools." Evan listened. He did not interrupt. "They built collars, commands, forced us into wars we did not start," she continued. "When the wars ended, they feared us, so they began to erase us." "That's wrong," Evan said quietly. "The galaxy rarely agrees with humans," she replied. Evan looked at the star map. His station was isolated but not completely alone. A human supply drone would arrive in 3 days, small, automated, enough power to run the station for months, enough power to save Sarathiel. "I might have an idea," Evan said. She followed his gaze to the screen. "If it involves risk," she said, "you should not do it." Evan smiled slightly. "Too late for that." The next day the station shook again. This time the alarm screamed. Sarathiel felt it instantly. She stiffened, her glow flaring bright. "They are closer," she said. "They have adjusted." Evan cursed under his breath. The ships were back, moving slow and deliberate. They were scanning space in tight patterns now. "They're hunting," Evan said. "Yes," Sarathiel replied. "For me." Evan rerouted power, flooded false signals into space, and launched debris from old repair drones, scattering energy signatures in every direction. The alien ships reacted immediately, splitting up, chasing ghosts. But one ship stayed. It turned toward the station. Sarathiel stepped closer to Evan. "If they board, they will kill you." "Not if they don't find anything," Evan said. "They will," she said. "They always do." Evan thought fast. Human tech was simple, physical, messy. Alien tech was clean, precise, predictable. He vented atmosphere from unused sections, powered down entire decks, and physically rerouted circuits by hand. The station became a dead shell, barely alive. The alien ship docked. Heavy footsteps echoed through the hull. Evan's heart pounded. He could hear them moving, scanning, slicing doors open with silent tools. Sarathiel closed her eyes. Her body shimmered, light bending around her form, her shape blurred. Evan stared. "You can do that?" "Not for long," she whispered. "And not well." The door to the control room began to melt. Evan grabbed a metal bar and stood in front of her without thinking. The door fell inward. Tall figures entered, armored, faceless behind dark visors. Their weapons hummed with contained energy. One of them raised a scanner. It beeped once, then stopped. The soldier tilted its head, confused. Evan stepped forward. "This is a human listening station," he said. "You have no authority here." The soldier paused. Another stepped closer, scanning Evan directly. "Human detected," a cold voice said. "No target present." They turned their scanners outward again, searching for Sarathiel's energy signature. It wasn't there. Evan didn't know why. Maybe human metal confused their readings. Maybe Sarathiel's fading strength hid her better than she thought. After long seconds, the soldiers turned and left. The ship undocked. Silence returned. Evan dropped the metal bar and laughed, shaky and breathless. Sarathiel collapsed to her knees. Evan rushed to her side. "Hey, stay with me." "I used too much," she said weakly. "I am empty now." Evan didn't hesitate. He dragged a power conduit from the wall, sparks flying, and slammed it into the emergency converter. "What are you doing?" Sarathiel gasped. "Something very stupid," Evan replied. He rerouted the station's fusion output into a controlled spill, raw and unstable. Alarms screamed. The lights flickered. Sarathiel cried out as the energy washed over her, light flooding her veins. Then she breathed. Color returned to her skin. The glow stabilized. Evan shut everything down and collapsed beside her. For a long time, neither spoke. When Sarathiel finally looked at him, her eyes were no longer afraid. "You would have died," she said softly. "Yeah," Evan replied. "Probably." "Why?" she asked. Evan thought about it. About Earth. About humans standing up to things bigger than them since the beginning. "Because someone had to say no," he said. Sarathiel placed a hand over her chest and bowed her head slightly. "Then hear this, Evan Hale," she said. "My enemies believe humans are weak. I will make them regret that belief." Outside, far beyond the station, unseen sensors began to turn toward human space. The station took 3 days to recover. Evan worked almost non-stop, fixing burned circuits and stabilizing the reactor. He moved with slow focus, his body tired but his mind sharp. Every repair mattered now. If the station failed, there would be no hiding, no second chances. Sarathiel recovered faster. By the second day, she could walk without support. The glow beneath her skin was steady, no longer flickering like a dying light. She helped Evan when she could, handing tools, watching screens, learning how human systems worked. "You build things to break and fix again," she said once, observing a patched conduit. "Other species build things to never fail." Evan wiped sweat from his brow. "Yeah, well, nothing works forever." She considered that quietly. On the third day, the supply drone arrived. It appeared on sensors as a dull shape, slow and simple. No weapons, no stealth. Just a flying box full of power cells, food packs, and spare parts. To Evan, it had never looked more beautiful. He guided it in manually, bypassing automated signals to avoid attention. The drone locked into place with a heavy thud. Sarathiel stood beside him, watching closely. "If I take from this," she said, "they may track the energy change." "They already know something's wrong," Evan replied. "At this point, we survive first." He opened the drone and carefully connected one of the high-density power cells to a modified regulator. The flow was slow and controlled, human-style. Sarathiel closed her eyes as the energy moved into her. This time there was no pain, only warmth. She exhaled, long and steady. When she opened her eyes, they glowed brighter than Evan had ever seen. "I am whole," she said softly. Evan smiled. "Good." She turned to him. "You have done more than hide me," she said. "You have chosen a side." Evan leaned against the wall. "Didn't feel like a choice." "It always is," she replied. That same hour, long-range sensors picked up movement, not ships, signals. Encrypted, layered, old, Sarathiel froze when she saw them. "They are calling for confirmation," she said. "The hunters report failure." Evan frowned. "To who?" "To the ones above them," Sarathiel said. "The ones who command empires." Evan's console chimed again. Another signal appeared, then another, human signals. Evan stared. "That's not right." He checked the source. Nearby stations, mining posts, patrol craft, they were all asking the same question. "Did you see that?" one message read. Another followed. "Unidentified fleet movement detected. Any confirmation?" Evan felt his chest tighten. "They noticed." Sarathiel looked at him sharply. "Your kind watches everything." "Not like this," Evan said. "We're not supposed to." But humans had always been good at noticing patterns. And when something strange moved near their borders, they talked. Evan hesitated, then opened a channel. "This is listening station K-17, he said. "I confirm unusual activity." There was a pause, then a reply. "K-17, this is Patrol 3, describe." Evan looked at Sarathiel. She nodded once. "Multiple non-human vessels operating covertly near our space," Evan said. "Intent unknown." Silence followed, then, "Understood, maintain observation, do not engage." Sarathiel let out a slow breath. "They will not ignore this," she said. "Your people are cautious, but once alert, they do not sleep." "That's accurate," Evan said. The next hours proved her right. Human traffic increased. Patrol routes shifted. Sensors lit up across the region like waking eyes. The alien hunters stayed hidden, but they were no longer alone. Sarathiel watched the screens with a strange expression. "For centuries," she said quietly, "humans were dismissed. Too loud, too emotional, too divided." Evan snorted. "That part's true." "But they forgot something," she continued. "Your kind adapts faster than fear spreads." A new signal appeared. This one was different, older, deeper. Sarathiel stiffened. "That is them," she said. "The masters." Evan felt the air grow heavy. The signal cut through space and slammed into the station's receivers, bypassing filters with ease. A voice filled the room. Calm, cold. "Human station," it said. "You harbor stolen property." Evan's jaw clenched. "That's not how we talk about people." A pause. "Correction," the voice said. "You harbor a biological asset." Sarathiel stepped forward, standing beside Evan. "I am not yours," she said clearly. The voice shifted, faint irritation entering its tone. "You are what we made you," it said. "Return, and the human will be spared." Evan laughed once, short and sharp. "That's a bad offer," he said. "You misunderstand your position," the voice replied. "Your species lacks standing." Evan leaned closer to the console. "Then stop talking to us," he said. Silence followed. Not the quiet of space, but something heavier. Then the signal ended. Sarathiel looked at Evan. "They will not forget this." "Neither will we," Evan said. Within hours, Command contacted him directly. Evan told them everything. He expected anger, orders, arrest. Instead, there was a long pause. Then a voice said, "Stay where you are." Human ships arrived 2 days later. Not a fleet, just enough. Enough to be seen. They positioned themselves openly, transponders bright, weapons powered but silent. The alien hunters withdrew further, watching from the dark. Sarathiel stood at the viewport, her expression unreadable. "They are afraid," she said. Evan raised an eyebrow. "Of us." "Of uncertainty," she replied. "You do not follow the rules they built." Another message arrived. This one was public. Human Command broadcasted on every open channel. "We acknowledge the presence of non-human forces near our territory," the message said. "Any hostile action will be considered a violation of sovereign space." Simple, clear. The galaxy listened. Sarathiel turned to Evan. "They will test you," she said. "Soon." Evan nodded. "We're used to that." As if summoned, sensors flared. A single alien ship moved forward, crossing an invisible line. Human weapons powered up across the region. No one fired. Seconds stretched. Then the alien ship stopped and turned away. Sarathiel let out a slow breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "They blinked," she said. Evan smiled, tired but proud. "Humans do that," he said. "We stare back." Far away, ancient minds adjusted their calculations. Humanity was no longer background noise. It was a variable, and variables made empires nervous. The silence after the first confrontation lasted only a day. Evan sat at the station's console, watching the stars slide past. The galaxy outside seemed calm, but everyone who knew anything about deep space knew calm was often a warning. Sarathiel stood behind him, still glowing softly. She had spent hours teaching him about her species, energy patterns, their weaknesses, and how hunters tracked them. Evan listened carefully, writing down notes. Even if humans were unpredictable, preparation was everything. "Do you trust them?" she asked quietly. Evan didn't answer immediately. He watched a distant patrol drone sweep past, its small light blinking. "I don't know," he said finally, "but I know they're trying." "They do not understand humans," she said. "They believe we are weak. They will regret it." Evan nodded. That was human nature. People always underestimated humans. That had been true on Earth for centuries, and it was still true in space. But humans had a stubborn streak no one could break, and right now, that streak was all they had. A new alert flashed on the console. Evan leaned in, squinting. It was an encrypted transmission, moving through old human networks to avoid detection. It wasn't from command. It wasn't from the patrols. "Who is it?" Sarathiel asked. Evan frowned. "Unknown." The message decoded slowly. When the words appeared, Evan's jaw tightened. It was not a threat. It was evidence. Detailed records of the hunters, of the empire that controlled them, of the abductions, the experiments, the energy enslavement. Someone had risked everything to leak this information. Sarathiel's eyes widened. "This is proof." Evan read more. "If we send this to the Council, to anyone, it could change things." She nodded slowly. "The galaxy will see us differently, humanity and the Noctir together, and my people will have a chance to live freely." Evan thought about the risk. If they transmitted it, the Empire would know immediately. The hunters would come in force. But if they did nothing, Sarathiel could be hunted forever and humans would continue to be underestimated. He made a decision. "We do it." Sarathiel studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled faintly. "Humans are remarkable." They prepared the station for transmission. Evan routed every spare power source to the communication array, boosting signals beyond normal limits. Sarathiel assisted, calibrating the frequency to avoid interception, guiding energy through channels she understood but humans had forgotten. The first attempt failed. Signals bounced off, unknown interference scrambled. The second attempt was better but still partial. Each failure brought tension. They could feel the Empire's eyes on them, even in the dark vastness of space. On the third attempt it worked. The data streamed outward, crossing sectors, reaching human outposts first, then larger stations, then fleets. The galaxy listened. The leaked evidence painted a picture of cruelty and control that could no longer be hidden. Evan and Sarathiel watched the response unfold. Humans, slow to react but precise, moved quickly. Patrols began scanning deeper sectors. Fleets adjusted positions, no longer ignoring the Empire's activities. Reports and questions flooded communication channels. The hunters realized they were being watched, tracked, and challenged. "They do not understand humans," Sarathiel said again. But this time her tone carried respect. "They believed your species would hide and wait. Instead, you act." Evan leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. "We don't wait, we respond." The Empire reacted swiftly. A fleet emerged from hidden sectors, faster and stronger than any human craft. The hunters accompanied it, scanning for Sarathiel. But humans were ready. Sensors predicted their movements, patrols blocked intercept points, and communication arrays coordinated responses. Each human ship acted independently, yet with unified purpose. Evan monitored the situation from the station. His console displayed dozens of engagements across multiple sectors. Alien ships moved aggressively, but humans adapted faster, using terrain, debris fields, and unpredictability to offset the enemy's advantage. Every maneuver was calculated, every action decisive. Sarathiel watched the screens beside him, her expression unreadable. "Your species is clever, bold, dangerous." Evan smiled faintly. "That's humans for you. We survive because we never give up." Hours passed. Battles raged silently on sensor feeds. Then came the turning point. One of the Empire's main ships, the largest, attempted a direct strike on the station. Evan and Sarathiel had anticipated this. They activated a makeshift energy shield using old fusion cells, redirecting the attack. The alien ship's energy discharge collided with the shield, exploding in a brilliant display of sparks and plasma, visible even through the station's reinforced windows. The shockwave shook the station, throwing Evan to the floor. Sarathiel caught herself and helped him up. Dust and debris floated in the cabin. When the viewports cleared, the fleet was retreating. Their formation broke. Coordination faltered. The humans had survived, and more importantly, they had shown the galaxy they could fight. "You have changed everything," Sarathiel said softly. "No," Evan corrected her. "We just reminded them. Humans were always ready. They just needed a reason." The following days were quiet but tense. The Empire sent messages demanding surrender. Humans replied with clear statements. Any attack on human territory or allies would be met with full defense. Fleets repositioned strategically, showing the galaxy that humanity would not bow. Sarathiel stood at the viewport, glowing faintly, watching the stars. She had fought countless battles, escaped death many times, but this was new. She was not alone, and this human beside her had proven something she had not seen in centuries: courage that was not born of strength but of choice. Evan approached her. "You'll be safe now," he said. "Perhaps," she replied, "but they will return, others will come." "Then we'll be ready," Evan said. "Humans always are." A week later, the galaxy began to shift. Neutral civilizations, long silent and cautious, reached out. They asked questions, demanded answers, and for the first time, considered humans not as background observers, but as active participants in galactic affairs. Evidence of the Empire's cruelty spread faster than any human fleet could travel. Humanity and Sarathiel's people gained allies, and the hunters lost leverage. Evan walked through the station one night, alone. He paused at the small window, staring at the black stars. He thought about Earth, about humans, history of facing giants and surviving, often against impossible odds, and he realized that this pattern had not changed. Sarathiel joined him quietly. She looked at him, her glow steady and soft. "You have done more than save me," she said. "You have shown the galaxy what humans truly are." Evan shrugged. "We just acted like humans do. We protect what we believe is right, and we never give up." For a long time they stood there watching. The station drifted. A small human outpost at the edge of known space, but it had become something more. It had become a symbol. Weeks later, communication networks buzzed with new activity. Human command sent fleets to establish positions in previously ignored sectors. Intelligence gathered proof of the Empire's weakness. The hunters, once feared across multiple star systems, now fled cautiously, aware that humans were unpredictable and resilient. Sarathiel watched all of it, learning. "I believed my kind was alone," she said softly. "I believed the galaxy would always fear and destroy us. But your people, your species, shows a different way." Evan nodded. "We don't start wars for power, we don't conquer. But if someone threatens life, liberty, or freedom, we will wake up. And when we do, nothing can stop us." She looked at him with respect. "Then I will stay with you, not as a prisoner or a tool, but as an ally. Together, humans and Noctir can face the galaxy differently." Evan smiled faintly. "Then let's make them remember. Humans may sleep alone in small stations at the edge of space, but when we wake," he paused, looking at her, "we are unstoppable." Outside, the stars continued their slow drift. The galaxy had taken notice. Rumors of human resilience spread. Stories of bravery, cleverness, and stubbornness moved faster than ships. Command prepared for future threats. Humans expanded their presence carefully, and Sarathiel trained alongside them, sharing knowledge no one else had. In the quiet of the station, Evan realized that life had changed forever. Humanity was no longer underestimated. The galaxy was beginning to understand what humans had always known. They were clever, they were adaptable, and they would never, ever give up. And Sarathiel, the once feared alien, now stood as proof. Not all monsters belonged to the enemy. Some could become the greatest allies. Together they would face the stars, fearless, unstoppable, and undeniable. The Empire would never forget. The hunters would never forget. And the galaxy would slowly learn. Humans might sleep alone, but when they woke, they could change everything. Evan leaned back, watching the stars. Somewhere in the distance, human fleets moved, ready for whatever came next. Beside him, Sarathiel rested, a silent reminder of the resilience and courage of two very different species, united in purpose. The galaxy had woken up, and humanity had led the way.